Cats as mothers. Amongst domestic animals, cats are by far the most ardent and skilled mothers. The word blissful always suggests to me the expression of a cat who has given birth to her kittens, cleaned them up, and settled to suckle them, an expression made from equal parts of sensual pleasure, pride, and contentment that she has fulfilled herself. The immense satisfaction a cat finds in motherhood is embodied in the crooning sound, which she makes only when speaking to her kittens. Graphically described by Carol Capek as not a note, but a whole chord in harmonic thirds and fifths, very similar to the chord on a mouth organ. The strength of the maternal urge and the devotion of a cat to her kittens is one of the reasons for the survival of the species and its worldwide distribution in spite of periods of neglect and even persecution. The courage and fierceness of a cat with kittens is too well known to need emphasis. The wild cat that killed an armed knight at Barnborough in Yorkshire in the Middle Ages was perhaps protecting her kittens in the forest. Although she died of her wounds, her kittens probably survived. There are well-authenticated instances of cats jumping into rivers and entering burning houses to save their kittens. And a cat continually deprived of her kittens will often make sure of the next litter's survival by giving birth to it in some hidden and inaccessible spot. Although domesticated for several thousand years, the instincts of the wild animal remain unimpaired in the cat, and some of them can be seen at work in completely changed conditions during maternity. After the birth of her kittens, a mother cleans up scrupulously. She may be on a blanket in a basket in a secure home, but promptings from her prehistoric past urge her to leave no trace that would enable her enemies to track her lair when she leaves her kittens defenseless to hunt for food for herself so she can feed them. A cat with kittens nearly always decides sooner or later to move them. However comfortable she may be, she decides they would be better somewhere else. There follows the search for some usually quite unsuitable cupboard or shelf in another room, and the skillful carrying of the kittens. She is not to be denied, and can become the despair of a fond owner who cannot imagine what is wrong with the box or basket provided. What can be the explanation but that in the mind of the cat, the basket is a small cave or hole, or even a nest in long grass, as it was 5,000 years ago, and that after coming and going for several days, she has made a trail which would guide her enemies to it. So, the insistence on the move, even though now there are no enemies and the trail on the carpet is invisible. Once decided on, nothing will stop the move. Sydney Denham, Our Cats. Mentu. The wild nature in Mentu is as strong as his inbred civilization, and the two are at strife together. His heart and his appetite lead him back and back to the house, keep him there for days together, a dainty fine gentleman, warm-hearted, capricious. But the spirit of the wild creature rises in him, and the night comes when, at bedtime, no Mentu is waiting at the door to be let in. Or in the evening, as he hears the wind rise and stir the branches, even while the rain beats on the window pane, the compelling power of out-of-doors is on him, and he must go. And when the window is lifted and the night air streams in, there is but one leap into the darkness. He will return early in the morning, tired and satiate, or spring in some evening as the dusk gathers, with gleaming eyes where the light of the wild woods flickers and dies, down in the comfortable firelight of an English home. This is the true cat, the real Mentu, this wild creature who must go on his mysterious errands, or who, I rather believe it, plunges out to revel in the intoxication of innumerable scents, unaccounted sounds, and the half-revealed forms of wood and field in twilight, in darkness, or in dawn. In his soul he is a dramatist, an artist in sensation. He lives with human beings. He loves them, as we live with children and love them and play their games. But the great world calls us, and we must go, and Mentu's business in life is elsewhere. He lives in the half-lights and secret places, free and alone, this mysterious little great being whom his mistress calls my cat. Margaret Benson, The Soul of a Cat. A Poet's Kitten. I have a kitten, my dear, the drollest of all creatures that ever wore a cat's skin. Her gambols are incredible and not to be described. She tumbles head over heels several times together. She lays her cheek to the ground and humps her back at you with an air of most supreme disdain. From this posture she rises to dance on her hind feet, an exercise which she performs with all the grace imaginable, and she closes these various exhibitions with a loud smack of her lips, which, for want of greater propriety of expression, we call spitting. But though all cats spit, no cat ever produced such a sound as she does. In point of size, she is likely to be a kitten always, being extremely small for her age. But time, that spoils all things, will, I suppose, make her also a cat. You will see her, I hope, before that melancholy period shall arrive, for no wisdom that she may gain by experience and reflection hereafter will compensate for the loss of her present hilarity. William Cowper. Pecuniary Canons of Taste. Barnyard fowl, hogs, cattle, sheep, goats, draft horses are of the nature of productive goods and serve a useful, often a lucrative end. Therefore, beauty is not readily imputed to them. The case is different with those domestic animals which ordinarily serve no industrial end, such as pigeons, parrots, and other cage birds, cats, dogs, and fast horses. These commonly are items of conspicuous consumption, and are therefore honorific in their nature, and may legitimately be accounted beautiful. Apart from the birds which belong in the honorific class of domestic animals, and which owe their place in this class to their non-lucrative character alone, the animals which merit particular attention are cats, dogs, and fast horses. The cat is less reputable than the other two just named because she is less wasteful. She may even serve a useful end. At the same time, the cat's temperament does not fit her for the honorific purpose. She lives with man on terms of equality, knows nothing of that relation of status which is the ancient basis of all distinctions of worth, honor, and repute, and she does not lend herself with facility to an invidious comparison between her owner and his neighbors. The exception to this last rule occurs in the case of such scarce and fanciful products as the Angora cat, which have some slight honorific value on the ground of expensiveness, and have therefore some special claim to beauty on pecuniary grounds. Thorstein Veblen, The Theory of the Leisure Class. The modern cat. With the possible exception of the cow, the cat seems to the unsophisticated eye to be, of all domestic animals, the one who has most opportunity for mental activity. She wastes no time bidding for our attention or bewailing our neglect, as does the dog. She performs no time-consuming labors, as does the horse. She lacks to our eyes, moreover, the appearance of feeble-mindedness, which distinguishes the pig, or the preoccupation with alimentation for which the sheep and chickens are notable. You find her curled by the hour in front of the fire, or sitting all day long by the mouse hole, or on the mantel shelf looking down, or under the porch looking up. What is she doing? The simplest answer seems to many to be, she just sits and thinks. By providing herself thus with opportunity for contemplation, The cat seems to have arranged her life in a most intelligent, though possibly unethical way. She is like the lady of fashion who so directs her affairs that all necessary work shall be performed by someone else, and her own time left free for pleasure. The cat gives the world nothing and receives from it everything. Like the goldfish, she provides us with neither shelter, food, nor clothing, for cat fur, though warm and pretty, is for some reason socially taboo. But unlike the simple fish, she suffers no curtailment of her freedom. Like the dog, she gains sufficient exercise in her own way and at her own time. But a blade of grass or a curtain tassel provides a much more accessible playfellow than a human being willing to whistle or throw sticks. And in spite of a life of relative freedom from care or for food and shelter, her instinctive equipment remains such that if occasion arises, as when she is abandoned perhaps in the woods, she is much better fitted to resume a wild life than is the dog, but usually you find her in our homes. There she occupies a position much like that accorded by primitive theology to the deity. Her function is to sit and be admired. Georgina Stickland Gates, the modern cat, her mind and manners. The mysterious cat. I saw a proud, mysterious cat. I saw a proud, mysterious cat, too proud to catch a mouse or rat. Mew, mew, mew. But catnip she would eat and purr. But catnip she would eat and purr. And goldfish she did much prefer. Mew, mew, mew. I saw a cat. 'Twas but a dream. I saw a cat, 'twas but a dream, who scorned the slave that brought her cream. Mew, mew, mew. Unless the slave were dressed in style, unless the slave were dressed in style, and knelt before her all the while. Mew, mew, mew. Did you ever hear of a thing like that? Did you ever hear of a thing like that? Oh, what a proud, mysterious cat. Oh, what a proud, mysterious cat. Oh, what a proud, mysterious cat. Mew, mew, mew. Vachel, Lindsay, Johnny Appleseed, and Other Poems. Curiosity. Another visible manifestation of the cat's elaborate defense mechanism is its overwhelming curiosity. Think a minute. Observe a cat making its meticulous survey of the bags from the supermarket, the gift packages under the Christmas tree, the birthday or anniversary goodies, visitors' luggage, the delivery cartons, the new dried arrangement or floral centerpiece on the dining room table. Everything of any size, shape, or description introduced into the cat's environment must undergo minute examination. Why? It is foreign to the cat's nature to be surprised. It either angers or intimidates. The inspection routine is the animal classification method. The built-in cat computer prints it out this way. Animate things. I'll retreat and watch. Inanimate. I'll forget this one. It could become part of the scenery. Possible enemy. I'll either stand and fight or run and hide. Bill Adams. Canine versus feline. Psychologists and researchers generally agree that dogs are smarter than cats, but cat lovers often wonder on what basis this conclusion was made. Psychologists cite experiments with albino rats, with hooded rats. They overwhelm us with words we've never heard before, like statistical analysis, standard deviation, affect, instinctual drift, Skinner box, and many others. Then, when it comes to the intelligence of cats, they always conclude that dogs are smarter. I, for one, cannot agree, but then I don't have a master's degree in psychology. On the other hand, I do have the experience, 30 years of it. Brought up in a home where felines were defamed, I called two-faced and vicious, and where man's best friend was placed on the proverbial pedestal, I was taken aback when my bride brought cats as well as the love for the feline into our home immediately after the wedding, without asking. Thus I learned about cats, more than I ever expected to learn, I dare say. When you ask a psychologist why dogs are considered smarter, they'll say it's because they learn faster. Although this appears to be true, it certainly is not the whole story. Here I have to detour a bit. Recently, an interesting chap named Dr. Peter wrote a book in which he described in great detail what he called the Peter Principle. It's about how everyone eventually arrives at his level of incompetence. To prevent this from happening to those who do not want to perform at such a level, he gives specific instructions on how to avoid promotions. I submit that prehistoric cats had their own Dr. Peter. I can see it quite clearly. Okay, you cats, if you want to be smart, smarter than those clumsy, slobbering dogs, you gotta play it cool. And he proceeded to program them accordingly. Item: it's the dog that brings in the newspaper on a cold day and fetches the slippers, while Kitty snoozes in front of the fireplace. It's the dog that wears himself out fetching this or that, doing one or another trick, and making up to everyone, friend or foe alike. Item: most people don't know it, but cats are expert swimmers. Cats pretend to hate water. Just splash a few drops onto their immaculate fur and they'll take off like an overfueled rocket. Let the dumb dogs get wet and stringy when they try to fetch the sticks playful humans throw into polluted rivers and lakes. Us cats take a bath when we want to. The charming gray male kitten we recently gave away to an attractive young lady friend regularly takes a bath with her, at his own choosing of time, place, and condition. He swims beautifully. Item: our 16-year-old Siamese, Coco, at times is not willing to come into the house when we are ready to retire. Tough luck. We go to bed. In the morning, Coco is let in. What would a dog do in this case? He'd lick your hand and slobber all over you. He is so happy to see you and grateful that you condescend to let him in. Coco, on the other hand, lets you know in no uncertain terms that you are an inconsiderate heel and a racist who does not care about minorities. He bawls you out unmercifully as he marches up to his food dish to garbage up, and he still squawks at you after he's had his fill and climbs into his basket for his so cruelly delayed slumber. Item: last month our neighbor's house turned into a disaster area for a whole week. Red, their long-haired Irish setter, had let his enthusiasm to befriend a passing skunk get the better of him. When our Coco encountered the same animal the following day, he sat down at a safe distance, and the two animals contemplated each other with mutual respect for a long time, while we anxiously watched them through the window. We breathed deep sighs of relief when we realized that Coco's superior judgment had preserved the tranquility of his world, our home. Item: dogs eat sloppily, noisily, indiscriminately, and carelessly. Stones, poison, food, bones, it's all the same to them. Cats sniff at every bite. Dogs overeat. Cats know when to stop. Dogs get themselves filthy and require repeated and hated baths. Cats keep themselves dainty and clean. Dogs get angry when left alone and wreck the house. Cats know better. Dogs have to be housebroken, but cats demonstrate their superior toilet habits right from birth. Item: you can beat a dog and he will still love you, but beat a cat, that is if you can catch him, and you'll either wind up with crimson streaks or he will ignore you, showing not only that you rate less than 0 in his book, but also that you'll never get anywhere that way. And what was the sage advice the early feline Dr. Peter instilled in his race? Simply this: the smart cat doesn't let on that he is. H.G. Frommer.